Welcome back, technical traders. This is Humble Chartist, and today I'll be doing a technical breakdown on Netflix. Ticker symbol NFLX. Before we begin, please take a second to give the video a like and subscribe for more charting and price manipulations. I deeply appreciate those who have liked and subscribed to my videos and channel. I'll first start off by analyzing the daily charts, followed by the weekly charts and monthly if necessary. So, it can be observed that Netflix has dropped quite a bit. In fact, even before the earnings, you can see some selling pressure. So if you can see selling pressure before the earnings, it's not really a good sign. We had a very much like a double top, or rather like a fake breakout at a peak around 700 here. And thereafter, we actually continue to slide down with many huge red candles. So it's not really a good indication before earnings. It will mean that the insiders would have probably already sold beforehand. So you should sell alongside with them rather than just buying from them. But that being said, it looks like the majority have bought from them, and that's why we are at these current prices now. It is actually on the daily charts, we are in fact on a downtrend. You can see that we are way below the clouds here. So when the stock is an uptrend, it will be above the clouds. And on the other hand, when it's a downtrend, it will be below the clouds. You can see that on the weekly scale and on the monthly scale, we in fact bounce off this particular trend line that has been following quite well for Netflix. So you can see that we went below the trend line, and perhaps some people got their stop losses triggered. Then we went all the way up to about 458. But then again, that now creates a very huge gap of this about 20 to 25% of this gap down when the earnings was announced, and it was way below expectations. If you were to ask me, where are my potential supports and my potential resistance be, and also potentially my targets? You can see that currently Netflix is trading about 390, 391, that range. So that itself serves as a support level. But the next support level, in the event that it breaks this 390 zone, I'm looking at about 374. You can see that if it arrives here at about 374, we may potentially bounce off this monthly trend line once again. So at about 374 here, 375, there is a critical support bouncing off this trend line. So where exactly would be my resistance be? Of course, we have to break out of this 358. This 358 acts as a very strong resistance, because if we do not break out of it, then we will see a double top. But that being said, it needs to be broken out with good volume, because if we do not break out with good volume, for instance, if we do a fake breakout like this, let's say we go up here and then we do a fake breakout, but we come back down again, then there will be a fake breakout. But if we do see a strong breakout, for instance like that, and then it comes down with 458, the previous resistance becomes support, and then we can continue to trend higher. That is what we want to see. And we want to see healthy volume. We want to see a green candlesticks. So where next after 458? After we manage to break above the recent high, this will then be it will intend to close the gap. But before we close the gap, there is actually some resistance that we need to take a note of. The first one, you can see that it is somewhere here. This previous support will turn resistance. The next one will definitely be the 500 psychological level support. And the last one will be somewhere here. In order to close the gap, it looks like we can potentially go back to the particular day where just before we had a huge sell-off and the gap down. That will be the final target in the short term. If we were to take a look at the Fibonacci, from the previous high to the current low, you can see that on the way up, it acts as a resistance. So resistance, we managed to clear this 434 in the just recently at about 23.6%, but we did not sustain above it. But that's perfectly fine because the stock will tend to go up and down, and you can just clear certain resistance for breakout traders to come in. So the next target will be about 484, 485 as mentioned just now. This particular support here will turn resistance, and the $500 will definitely be a psychological support, psychological resistance rather. And the last target, it looks like we're going to hit 526, and then we will definitely close this gap here. But that being said, 374 has to hold as well. If 374 do not hold, then we may potentially, 374 has to hold. If 374 does not hold, then we may potentially come back here to test this 351 support level. And if we do not get a double bottom, then we may create lower lows. But looking at the MACD currently tells us what is the trend and the momentum. MACD is, even though it's bearish, it's actually looking healthy. You can see that the blue line still stays above the orange line. So it may tends to go below the orange line and frighten some people. That's where the panic sellers come in. But you may hover around and then continue going upwards thereafter. If you look at the weekly MACD, the weekly MACD tells us something similar. While we are still downtrending pretty hard, you can see that the red candle, red histogram has really turned white. So it's an indication that there is a potential reversal, or in fact, just a strong bounce coming ahead. Well, if you look at the RSI tells us how much risk we are actually putting in when we are investing in this particular stock or trading this stock. You can see at this bottom here, somewhere in 2019, the RSI was pretty low. And in 2020, or just before 2020, our RSI level was here. So currently now, we are in this oversold territory and our RSI levels is here. It's slightly below 30, just hovering about 29. So definitely if you're buying now, it's a lot better than buying at these oversold positions. And you are currently getting at a potential discount with less risk involved. So let's do a quick recap. Currently, the Netflix has been downtrending quite a bit and it has a big drop. So when downtrending stocks, usually you'll see bounces, but hopefully we'll see a big reversal for Netflix, and its current target, it needs to clear and close this gap that it has created when it was announced of bad earnings. So the first support that we have to see bounce it off is 374, 375. If you do not hold that, then it will go to 351, the recent low. But if we manage to clear and break out above these 458 levels, then we are going to head towards 485, break the psychological support at 500, and thereafter reach the target of about 524 to about 525, 526. That's where my personal target of Netflix will be. So if there's anything else, I'll give you guys an update. Thank you for stopping by, and do check out the rest of the channel. Leave in the comment section below all your thoughts on this particular stock, or if you have any other stock TA requests. Also do share this with your friends who are more interested in market manipulation. Lastly, I do appreciate any feedback to improve the video content for you guys. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.